Okay, in this video, we're actually going to hem the panel. Okay, now one thing that we do at Fat Brow is we always protect this female leg during shipping. The way the panels are stacked, excuse me, there's a possibility that transit abrasion, which is just vibrations and shaking in the truck to get to your job site, could possibly scratch this. So we protect it with strippable film. You want to make sure that the film comes off. Now, you can see that we've put lettering. It says remove prior to UV exposure. That's something that we've added because without the lettering, it's very difficult to see this, and people were forgetting to pull it off. So we've added that lettering. So you want to pull that all the way off of there. Now, typically, the person on the ground, it's never a bad idea to have one person doing all the hemming for a couple reasons. Everything's done the exact same way in their uniform. And two, the more of these you do, the quicker you get at them. The first one might take you 6 or 7 minutes. By the time you've done 5 or 6 of these, you can knock these out in less than a minute. Okay? All right, on with the hemming. So we've got our hem bending tool. Now, this is the way I like to do it. And again, these are all guidelines. You can vary a little bit from the way we do it, and it could be perfectly acceptable. So I like to give a mark exactly where the hem is going to be with the hem bending tool. Now, this is where your right and your left shears come into play. If you don't have both, it's very difficult to get a nice tight cut in next to the seam. Okay? I'm going to grab the other pair over here, and you can see it's very nice and easy to put a nice clean cut all the way out at the edge. Okay? There, now that we cut those back, we grab the hem bending tool. It goes back down. Now, I've got my, Steve is holding this end of the panel. One guy can do this, maybe just clamp to your sawhorses so the panel doesn't jog around on you. Okay, then what we're going to do, boom, we bend this right around on itself. There's your hem. Very nice finished edge, okay? Now, what we're going to do to the male leg, we're just going to snip that guy off. The female leg, we're going to cut it off, leave a little tab that we can then bend over so you don't look up into that gap or that hole there, okay? So, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to cut this back. Now, I'm doing this a little awkwardly, so I'm not blocking the camera. And like I said, there's several different ways that you can do this. Sometimes you can put a relief cut in to get some of that material out of the way, to make it a little easy to continue the cut. Everybody's going to find their little way. And there really is no wrong or right way to go about this as long as it gets done. Okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and put another cut in here. And you can bend this back and forth and break it off. And this is where the gloves are so important because this is very sharp. Okay? Now, I'm going to go on down and just cut that off. Okay. Now, we get that off of there. Okay. Now, this side, as long as it's cut out of the way, it doesn't need to be perfect because we're going to cover that, okay? This is the side that you might want to take a little bit more time on. So, the way that I like to do these, I'll cut up this edge. And again, if you want to cut yourself a little relief, everybody's going to find their little way of how they like to do it. Cut a little relief in there and get some of this material out of the way to make life a little bit easier for you. Now I like to cut along the top here. Get that out. Come over, put this guy out. Now, there's a little lip here, and what that lip does, that's what catches on the other side. Before you bend that tab over, you always cut that guy out of the way. It's going to make that bend a lot easier. Okay? So there that goes. Now, we're going to cut this back a little bit and leave a tab, and you'll see here. Okay, now this is sticking out a little bit. Now this is where you might want to use some touch-up paint and a few things to dress that edge up. Now we take a handbrake, stick it on there. Now you could just bend that over, but it's not going to give you a nice crisp line. So anytime you're bending these, it's always a good idea. Do something like that, and then you can, knock it over. And what that does, that closes that edge off, okay? And this is a good spot to where you might want to use some touch-up paint You can knock a few things around, straighten some things up, and you can touch up paint and caulk and close that off. Okay, now the first panel's hemmed. We're now ready to take it up on the roof and install it.